Hey everybody, this is Dalton over at readandglide.com. Today's video is all about 5 easy ways to get rid of smartphone addiction. It's actually pretty crazy though. I mean, the other day I was on my couch just casually streaming through Netflix and I saw the original Shrek. Big green ogre, Mike Myers. It was made in 2001. I was 8 years old at the time, and I thought to myself, wow, back then the world was so different. We didn't have social media, we didn't have smartphones, kids played outside. And nowadays, if you take a look at modern society, everyone is addicted to their phone. I mean, I see people that can't even go to the bathroom without like looking at their phone, going to the urinal. It's pretty pathetic, honestly. And in fact, it one statistic is that people spend 5 hours per day. That's 5 hours per day on their phone. So I'm going to talk about 5 ways to kind of reduce smartphone addiction. One of which, the first one, number one, is turn off notifications. I mean, I know you have a lot of apps, a lot of social media, but all these notifications are not that important. So turn off notifications, and if you must check, do it in batches. I find batching things like emails, notifications, it makes things great. I mean, one book that I really enjoy, and I've talked about this book in a couple other videos, is The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. It's actually in the description below if you guys want to check it out via Amazon.com. But Tim Ferriss, he says that email can be a curse. I mean, it can also be a blessing, but it can be a curse. That being said, people are so distracted with email. When the email comes up, they get distracted and they think, oh, it's really quick, but throws them off track. However, Mr. Ferriss, he says that we should batch emails. So we tend to check email twice a day, once in the morning, then once later in the afternoon. So like one time at 11 a.m., the next time at around 4. So that allows him to like work on crucial tasks for at least 2, 3 hours, just very concentrated, no interruptions. And I believe batching is very effective for notifications as well. And then my second tip is deleting unused apps. So having a lot of apps, it's very distracting. It clutters your phone. It can reduce battery life as well. I mean, if you have all these apps, fortunately, there is one app called Offtime. I know it might sound a little weird. I say delete all your apps, and now I'm saying you should look at this one called Offtime. But Offtime, it's really cool though because it'll kind of like help you track your usage of each app, and it'll just show you which ones that you use and which ones that you don't. So you can be like, hey, I'm going to delete XYZ app that I don't really use. I mean, it's not really adding value, so why do I even have it on my phone? And you can also have a pause screen as well. So you can have like force breaks from just constantly looking at apps, and that's a pretty good strategy too. And then my third tip is having a phone-free area or designating certain areas as phone-free. So some places include, well, the bathroom. I mentioned that earlier. People not even be able to like go to the bathroom without looking at their phones. Some other places include the bedroom because if you look at your phone constantly before going to bed, there have been studies, and it's actually in the article in the description below, that it does cause insomnia. The blue light, it reduces melatonin, which is a supplement that your body produces to help you fall asleep and get good REM sleep. So, I mean, it's really bad for your sleep by having your phone right by your bed. I mean, it kind of messes with your cycle and even your eyesight too. Another place that you should designate as phone free are kitchen tables. I mean, when I was younger, I would have big family dinners every Sunday night. My mom and dad would barbecue for my sister and I. It was actually pretty cool. But my dad was like, "Hey, this is a phone free zone for the next half hour, whenever we're going to eat. This is phone free." And I think that's a very valid strategy. So phone-free areas, that's tip number three. Tip number four, and this might seem a little extreme for some of you, and it was a little tough for me too, but have one phone-free day a week. So by having a phone-free day a week, it's allowed me to become more focused and even more relaxed. I mean, yesterday was Friday, and I was able to have a phone-free day. I was able to kind of I was able to concentrate more at work, and I felt like I got more things done. And yeah, it was pretty good. So I realized that this is kind of a tough strategy for a lot of you guys. So instead of having a phone-free day, have a phone-free morning, phone-free afternoon, and instead do something fun in that like 3 or 4 hour chunk. I mean, think going for a nice hike, go surf, go snowboard. I mean, one of the reasons why I love water sports personally is because it gives you an excuse not to be on your phone, not to be on social media, because you're like, hey, you know what? I can't get my phone wet. And I mean, it's just kind of a little trick I do sometimes. But doing one of those activities, it'll allow you to take the break. And then another really cool thing to do during those activities, if you really want to kind of like be in a state of zen and just really be mindful, is just meditate. I mean, if you're going hiking or paddleboarding, find a place that's kind of quiet, kind of serene, and for just 5, 10 minutes, just meditate. Just like breathe and observe the landscape where you are, take the moment in, and just reflect on how you felt. And then number five, and this isn't a purely smartphone tip. It's just something I think that's very important. It's kind of dying in today's age, is interpersonal relationships. I mean, we're so addicted to technology. We're so addicted to our phones, and I think personal relationships are being weakened. And it's crazy though, because I actually mentioned in the article below that millennials, they don't even want to order food from a cashier. They go to a kiosk. I mean, most of the time, if there's a kiosk, they order off a screen. And I think that's kind of sad. So, I mean, using the time that we're not on our phones to focus on like actually talking to someone, learning about their point of view, learning about a different culture, that matters more than someone that liked your post or anyone that liked your video stream. So I mean, keep that in mind though. I mean, focusing on interpersonal relationships is very important. And like I said, by having a phone-free dinner place, it'll make it even easier. So, all right, there you have. Those are five just easy ways to kind of avoid smartphone addiction. So just to summarize, you want to do one is no notifications, and if you must, do it in batches like emails. And then two is deleting unnecessary apps. Use the Offtime app. I'm actually putting that in the description below as well. Use that as kind of a guide to understand which apps are being used and which ones aren't. And then three, having phone-free places like dinner tables and bedrooms, especially the bedroom. It helps for avoiding insomnia. And then four is having a phone free or even phone free morning a week. I mean, it'll really help. And then five is just focusing on interpersonal relationships, getting to know the person who you're talking to. Well, anyway, guys, that's about it for today's video. Anyway, if you like this video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and even tell me in the comments below, how have you tried to combat smartphone addiction? I would love to hear it. Thanks again, and I will see you next time. Cheers. Bye.